I, a 27-year-old female, got married to my husband, a 32-year-old male, 3 years ago. He has a daughter with his ex-wife, Anna, who is 9 years old. They have a troubled relationship. They go back and forth, blaming and belittling each other. In her defense, the ex-wife does care deeply for Anna, is very kind to me, and both of them make sure Anna never sees or hears them fight. I'm working hard on building a relationship with Anna. I don't pretend to be in a mothering role just yet by any means, but we are comfortable with each other, and I do my best to spend quality time with her. We have plenty of family time. My husband and I both work full-time, but we get her ready for school together and take turns picking her up from school. All this to say, I spend time with her and have a strong idea of her personality. Something that has always bothered me about my husband's relationship with Anna is that he exaggerates her intelligence in anecdotes. Anna saying something funny or interesting or precocious. The issue is that these are not things she has said, just things my husband thinks would be impressive if she said them. She is a smart, kind child, and I do not think we need to be lying about her capabilities. I could tell plenty of true anecdotes of her intelligence that would be accurate. Recently, I've noticed that when Anna overhears these stories, she has begun to look confused. She has protested that she didn't really say that, but everyone laughs it off. I've privately expressed to my husband that I don't think he should be making up stories about her, but he always acts confused or insists that she did say or do something that just isn't in keeping with her development. The ex-wife still attends my husband's family get-togethers. Again, I have no issues with her. She is quite nice to me, but she and my husband just get on each other's nerves often. During this barbecue, my husband began to tell a story about Anna making a funny comment in the Wendy's drive-thru the day before. Even setting aside that Anna would not know most of the words that he claims she did, they weren't at Wendy's yesterday. I dropped her off, picked her up from school, and cooked and served her dinner before we both put her to bed. I said to my husband that it didn't happen at a normal speaking tone in a group where all the people who heard the anecdote were present. The ex-wife accused me of suggesting that Anna was stupid. My husband backed her up, and everyone seemed quite upset with me. I didn't say anything more, but my husband brought it up once more when we were home. He said I needed to stop calling him a liar, and especially stop giving his ex-wife ammunition to mock him, which doesn't even make sense. She was on his side. I said, "You didn't go to Wendy's yesterday," and he said, "Yeah, but she could have said that." I think he just wants to present the best version of his daughter to the world, even if it is a false version of who she is. Am I the jerk for calling him a liar and, I guess, giving his ex-wife ammunition? To add, please stop commenting to call my husband hurtful. He is not hurtful. He is not lying in any other way. Our finances are fine. He is not cheating on me. I know why his ex-wife and he broke up, and it is not because he lied. I agree, it is a problem that he is lying about this, and I will take it more seriously, but he is not hurtful, and you all need to stop accusing him of harassing me. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1, not the idiot. It looks like your husband is using his daughter to look good in front of people, and that can mess up a child if he doesn't put a stop to it. Let your husband understand why it's wrong to do what he's doing, and make him tell you the reason behind this behavior. If he doesn't stop, tell him you will go to his ex-wife since it's something that concerns their child. They should focus on what's best for Anna, and you should get to the bottom of this part of your husband's personality. It may not be as simple or harmless as it seems. Comment 2, not the idiot. He isn't presenting the best version of his daughter to the world. He's presenting a pretend version. And from Anna's perspective, it's because the real version isn't good enough for him, so he has to make her better. Instead of calling him out as a liar, which he is, ask him why the real Anna, as she is, isn't quite good enough for his liking, because that's the message he's putting out into the world. What she could be, if only. Now for the update. The week after the barbecue, things got weird. Like, really weird. Home was just a whole different vibe. My husband was more distant, and I could feel the walls closing in. My gut was telling me something was off. I couldn't shake the feeling. At dinner, he started sharing all these wild stories about Anna. Stuff that just didn't add up. I mean, we're talking like Anna's a genius-level child, the next Einstein type of stories. He was convinced she was getting all these awards at school, except she wasn't. I couldn't even wrap my head around why he was doing this. So I figured, I need to see what's up with Anna. I decided to attend a school event to check things out and see what the deal was. So, I go to this event, right? I'm expecting the red carpet treatment for this child genius. But nope, no awards, just a group project, like most kids do. I was like, this is what all the fuss was about. Meanwhile, I'm still trying to figure out why my husband is on this one. Anna is the best child ever kick, so we have this weekend brunch with the in-laws, and guess what? He tells another one of those ridiculous stories. I'm watching my mother-in-law, and she's eating it up. I mean, seriously, how can you buy into this? So I casually bring up that Anna didn't win any awards, and my husband brushes it off, laughing like I'm the crazy one. He says Anna is just modest. Sure, buddy, modest. But the icing on the cake is the ex-wife. She's there, and she raises an eyebrow but doesn't say a word. Just the look on her face was all kinds of, what is going on? I couldn't deal with all this alone. I was feeling suffocated by all the secrets. One day, I overhear my husband on the phone, and he sounds furious. I'm hearing bits and pieces of this conversation. Something about keeping up appearances. What? I can't even. A few days later, he asks if I can pick up Anna from school. I'm like, sure, no problem. So, I'm waiting outside the school, and I see Anna sitting there all by herself, looking like the world just ended. She tells me her dad said to keep quiet about her school stuff. I'm sitting there like, what the heck? I wanted to scream, but I had to keep it together. So, we go home, and during dinner, I casually bring up Anna's comment, just testing the waters. My husband loses it, like full-on explosion, yelling about how I'm undermining his parenting. I'm sitting there, stunned. The ex-wife calls later, asking to talk about Anna. We meet up at this coffee shop. The look on her face says it all. She's worried, and she asks me if I've noticed what's going on with Anna. Apparently, Anna has been confused at school. She's been telling her classmates about these awards that don't exist. The ex-wife suggests we confront the husband together. I'm all in. We decide to meet up that weekend as a little family meeting. The three of us, so we sit down with my husband, and the tension could cut glass. He knows why we're there. He starts off all defensive, like, what did I do now? We start talking, and he gets angrier by the second, accusing us of ganging up on him like we're the bad guys. In the heat of the moment, he admits he's been lying for attention. My jaw drops. The ex-wife is done. She gets up and leaves, and I'm just sitting there like, what in the world? Once it's just the two of us, he tries to explain. He says he's been trying to protect Anna's image. I'm sitting there, and I can't even deal with this. I start packing my bags. I tell him I need a break from all this. I decide to crash at my sister's place for a bit. A few days go by, and I get this text from him. It's all I want to change, and I'm going to seek help. I just read it and felt so many things. This whole thing just left me feeling empty. Like, what do I do now? I had no idea. Edit. People asked why I didn't tell my husband directly about Anna and the awards. I thought about it, but I didn't want to hurt his feelings. He was already sensitive, and I didn't want to be the reason for more trouble. I also figured he would find out eventually. Am I the idiot for selling my husband's family home to stop his greedy siblings from taking legal action? We lived as expats abroad, where I met my husband, and a few years ago we decided to relocate to his home country in Europe. He has a mother and 3 other siblings. They had a family house where nobody lived for the last 2 years. Prior to that, one of his youngest siblings lived there rent-free for 8 years. His mother lives with her partner now, so everyone has their own houses now. The house in question was the property of their father, who passed away 10 years ago. They could not register inheritance because the house and land accumulated a huge debt for not paying taxes for years, which was pretty much equal to the value of the house. Nobody was interested in paying and saving this house, so upon the death of the mother, the house would just go to auction. Now when we came, my husband, with the lawyers, found a way to reduce the debt by refusing the inheritance. So all the siblings, including my husband, legally refused the inheritance, and their mother became the sole heir. Due to her being an elderly woman with a low income, the debts were reduced to just the principal amount without the accumulated interest, and now the debts were about 20% of the market value of the house. Again, my husband asked the siblings who wanted to share the cost of saving the house by paying the debts and registration fees. Nobody wanted to or didn't have money for it. So then we decided that instead of buying a random house, we could pay the debts and renovate the family one. It needed complete renovation. The mother was over the moon that one of the children actually wanted the house, and it would not go to auction after her death. When we paid the debts and the lawyers, the mother signed the papers to hand over the ownership of the house to us. Now, when we renovated the house and it all looks nice and is not falling apart anymore, the family drama started as if we forced the mother to give the house to us for free. All siblings are asking us to pay them their share. We are at the breaking point of telling them that if they want, they can first compensate us for what we spent on paying the debts and lawyers, and then we will put the house on sale and walk away. Nope, they just want us to pay them. I guess they hoped we would pay the debts for the house to be registered under their mother's name, and then everyone would receive inheritance upon her death. All three siblings went no contact with us, trash-talking to the extended family about how we robbed them. We are still in contact with his mother, but she is heartbroken that the family is broken now. Before, we always had sweet family reunions. They all made her feel guilty and accused her of favoritism. Now for an update. I forgot to mention, the agreement has a clause that the mother will still have the legal right to live in this house, and we will be her legal caretakers until her death. Am I the jerk for taking over the house and refusing to pay the other siblings? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the a-hole. They didn't want to pay the debt to save the house from the auction, but now that it's nice and fixed, they claim it. Keep being no contact with them and don't care about what those greedy people say about you. They are welcome to sue you and lose in court if they wish, but you are the rightful owners of the house. It's a pity the family fell apart, but with such greedy people, it was only a matter of time. Comment 2. Not the a-hole and sorry for his mother to have to watch her children fight over something so simple. If the house was sold to an undisclosed buyer, there is no profit to share. However, you and your husband doing the right thing has caused them to think they are entitled to your hard-earned assets. Now, for the update. My husband and I renovated and moved into his late dad's house, and now his siblings are trying to get back at us. We moved in a few months ago. The renovations took a while, and our lives were a mess, but the house is finally livable. We hosted a housewarming dinner for the family, with his mom and siblings invited. It was a huge relief for me when they all accepted. I hoped it would ease some of the tension between us. His siblings showed up with crossed arms, clearly upset but pretending to be polite. His brother didn't even greet us. The atmosphere was tense. During dinner, his siblings suggested a family talk afterward. My stomach dropped. I knew this was coming, but I really hoped they would just drop it. After the meal, they confronted us about the house. They argued that the house should have been sold and the profit shared among all siblings. The mom sat silently, looking uncomfortable as her kids exchanged harsh words. I explained that we didn't want to sell the house. We wanted to keep it in the family and take care of the mom since it was her home. They accused us of manipulating the situation for personal gain. I felt my blood boil. My husband tried to get us all to lower our voices. The siblings wouldn't listen. They demanded money. I mentioned our agreement with the mom. This made them even more mad. They insisted that since they were the biological kids, they deserved compensation. The argument got worse, and they stormed out, leaving the mom in tears. She was so happy when we told her the plan. I can't believe we did this to her. A few weeks later, she called me, saying she felt guilty about the rift. I told her it wasn't her fault. We just wanted to help. We were at a family birthday party for one of the siblings. The tension was obvious. His siblings ignored us, only speaking to their mom. I overheard them discussing how to get back at us. My stomach dropped. The mom expressed her discomfort about their behavior. I told her we could talk it out. At least, we could try. She looked relieved. I asked the siblings to stop their behavior. They responded with more accusations and said the mom was being brainwashed. One sibling went as far as contacting extended family to air grievances against us. Family started taking sides. It was awkward at gatherings and events. They threatened to take legal action, saying they would contest the inheritance. My husband and I felt we had no choice but to hire a lawyer for guidance. This led to increased financial strain due to legal fees. They continued to escalate their claims, leading to a hostile family environment. Their threats and rumors escalated to the point where the mom considered moving out. It broke my heart. We just wanted to help her. I decided to sell the house to resolve tensions, despite the loss. We informed the mom, who was devastated but understood the situation. The siblings celebrated the decision, claiming it as a win for them. Edit. Selling the house wasn't easy. We had to go through all the renovations again to make it presentable. The siblings were angry when we sold it below market value, but we just wanted a quick sale. The mom was heartbroken, but said it was for the best. We managed to find a rental for her nearby. We decided to move back to our previous country and rented it out for now. The siblings have calmed down. Am I the idiot for screaming at my parents for turning my brother's room into a guest room instead of giving us more space? I am 16 years old, and my two siblings, 18 years old and 21 years old, live with my parents, who are 47 years old and 45 years old, in a 3-bedroom, 1-story house. My entire life, I've shared a room with my older sister, while my older brother has gotten his own room. Recently, my brother has decided to move in with some friends because he wants to branch off from our parents' house rules and move closer to his college. Both my sister and I were excited because we hate sharing a room. Our room is about the size of a large closet. We have bunk beds, we share a wardrobe, and a hanger rack for all of our clothes. Even with that being about it, we have practically no floor space, and the only room we have for personal items is a shelf each that my dad installed after he decided he didn't want them in the master bedroom. I wouldn't mind it as much if the little privacy I had in my room wasn't constantly taken over by my sister. My sister has the top bunk. I don't mind having the bottom, but it means that she is constantly in my space. It may seem silly, but my mattress space is the only area I have control over in our entire house, and I definitely get protective over it because of that. My sister has always been the antagonistic type and likes to get into my space when she's bored because she thinks it's funny. She sits on my bed, takes my phone, and looks through it, and pokes or grabs me and pulls me off the bed. I hate it. A few days after he left, I saw my parents looking for furniture and talking about going to IKEA for the room, and I asked if my sister and I could come so we could have a minor input on the furniture. My parents told me that we couldn't because my mother already had a vision for the guest room. I asked if they really planned to make the room a guest room, and they got upset, telling me I was ungrateful for feeling entitled to a room in their house, and that they could do what they wanted with their property without my judgment. I was fed up and a bit shocked, as my parents, although strict, have always seemed to try at being fair. I screamed at them about how they can't really expect their 2 teenage daughters to live in a glorified closet until they move out for a guest room, and that we just wanted privacy. They got angry at me and grounded me for being ungrateful, and told me just because I was their child, it didn't mean I could guilt trip them into giving me the room when the one I already have is enough. My sister is mad at me because I ruined our chances of getting our own rooms. I wasn't trying to guilt trip them, but I feel like we need space, and making a guest room is awful when we're stuck in one. Now I can't leave our room unless it's for school or other necessary things until I learn to appreciate what I have and stop being a brat. I feel bad that I screamed at them and am starting to doubt that I'm in the right, so I'm looking for someone else's perspective on this. So, am I the wrong one for screaming at my parents? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. You're right. It's totally unreasonable for them to keep their 2 teenagers in one small room and dedicate another room to a guest room. Plan on moving out at 18 and getting the therapy you'll need. After you're 18, your parents will be on here asking, None of our adult children are speaking to us anymore. Why are they so ungrateful when we did the legally required minimum as parents? Comment 2. Not the idiot. This is insane. Anyone who is over the age of 12 has every right to expect their own room if there are enough available. I can't even fathom being that mean to my own child. Your parents are messing with your head by making you think you're in the wrong. Now, for the update. I haven't updated in a while. It's been a little over a month since I lost my absolute crap on my parents over the guest room thing. Sorry for the delay, but I've had a lot going on. So, I'm still grounded. I'm only allowed out of my room for school and like essentials, whatever that means. And my sister is in our shared room more than ever now that our brother moved out. I thought we'd get to share the space, but no. She's taking over the whole space. My parents are doing everything they can to make this guest room happen. I overheard a phone call between my mom and a furniture store the other day. She was talking about the new bed she was getting and some decorations for a guest room. She was so excited about it. I can't even get excited about a new bed for a freaking year. So, that sucked to listen to. And then, out of nowhere, our brother moved back in. He has some issues with his friends, so he says. He never goes into detail about it. It's just us. I think he likes the space too. I can see it in his eyes. He has a new gaming console he bought with his own money, but he won't let any of us use it. We can't even look at it without him getting mad. Our parents don't see a problem with it. I don't even know why I bother sometimes. I try to be funny to break the tension in the air. I tried joking about how we're going to have to take turns in the hallway because it's getting so crowded. He snapped on me and told me to stop being so dramatic. My parents jumped on that too, calling me ungrateful. Everything I do is ungrateful. Whenever I try to be funny, I'm ungrateful. Whenever I try to stand up for myself, I'm ungrateful. Whenever I try to get some personal time, I'm ungrateful. I was done being ungrateful. Enough was enough. I decided to take matters into my own hands. I wanted to confront my parents about this unfairness. I needed to do it with my siblings, though. So one Saturday morning, I gathered my siblings for a meeting. My sister was all about it because she wants her own space too. My brother, of course, dismissed the idea. He acted all high and mighty, saying it was a waste of time. Whatever. So I stormed out of the room. I think he needs a little more time in the small room to see how unfair it is. My parents came home from grocery shopping while I was outside. I overheard them talking about how they're tired of the drama. I wanted to scream at them. I wanted to go in and give them a piece of my mind, but I couldn't. I just sat there listening to them. I decided to document everything in a notebook. I wrote down every single thing that happened, every unfair treatment that happened, and I wrote down my thoughts about it. I decided to read parts from it at the next family dinner. I thought it was a good way to get them to listen. So family dinner comes around. Everyone's at the table, including my sister and my brother. My brother tried to interrupt me, but I didn't let him. I just kept reading. My sister jumped in to back me up about how unfair the whole space thing is and how we all deserve our own space. My parents were mad. They told me to stop making everything worse. The argument escalated, and we were all yelling at each other. My brother got up and left the table angry. He slammed the door behind him. My parents told me to go to my room until I could be respectful. They acted like I was the only one doing anything wrong. I reached out to my brother's girlfriend. She's always been nice to me, and she understands. She agreed to help me out. She said she'd talk to my parents about this whole fairness thing. The next day, the girlfriend visited and had a long conversation with my parents. I don't know what they talked about, but I hope it was something good. Later that week, my parents called for a family meeting. They proposed a plan to create separate spaces for everyone in the house. Then my brother's girlfriend revealed that she'd been talking to them about it. I don't know what happened, but it worked. I'm still grounded for a few more weeks, but I have a plan to try and get ungrounded sooner. I'll need to get creative and get my parents on board with it, because they really don't like the idea of my siblings and I working together. I'll probably end up doing it alone again, but that's okay. At least I'm moving in the right direction. I might update if anything big happens. Edit. My brother's issues with his friends seem to be more than just typical problems. His girlfriend suggested he might be having trouble living independently. My sister and I have noticed him acting differently too, like he's more on edge. We're not sure what's going on, but it worries us. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.